behind those two pallets behind you there are oak logs. I got from a friend who's got a truffle farm, and he was pruning his oak trees, which are 20 years old. So I got hold of all those, and these ones here are everything else you see is what I've grown on the farm. And this one here, for instance, is these are eucalyptus nitens logs, and they were inoculated in October last year. In fact, all the logs on pallets were inoculated in October last year. The ones leaning up around the edge have been producing, but there's nothing here at the moment. Yeah, so these are about, 5, 6, 7 months old. I reckon probably another 2 or 3 months I'll sit them in the bathtub overnight, for 24 hours to try and stimulate the fruiting, and then I'll probably stand them up. I'm going to put some more rails through the middle of this little shade house, and hopefully we'll get something happening from that. But one thing I've learnt about shiitake is patience. It's nothing happens in a hurry, and it happens when it's ready, when it wants to happen. You can't force it, you can't make anything happen. So all these logs have been inoculated with Shiitake mycelium, which I import the dowels, which are about so big, and they're birch dowels, and they're inoculated with the mycelium, and they come from America. You get them in bags of 1,000, and so then you drill 8mm diameter holes, and depending on the size of the log, this log here, for instance, might have, say, 30 dowels in it, and this little log down here might have 20. So just depending on the size of the log, and then they're inoculated with these dowels, and then we seal over the dowel and both ends of the logs with beeswax, trying to stop any competition from other fungi getting into the logs, but that doesn't always work, but it's just a little bit of a preventative measure. Now, Rowan Reed of the Otway Agroforestry Network, a lot of you guys would know Rowan, I'd imagine, and he's done a lot of research into growing shiitake on smooth bark eucalypt, and some few years ago he said to me, well, nothing happening in the west there, you guys should get something going. So I thought, yeah, that's a good idea, let's see what we can get happening over here. And I happen to have a lot of the species on the farm here that Rowan has indicated are potentially suitable for shiitake growing. So, and the nitens has produced, these are nitens here, and I think all ones leaning up are actually nitens. But I'm looking forward to the oak. I think I've got English oak, which is Quercus robur, and I can't remember the name of, the botanical name for cork oak, which is some of the other ones are cork oak. Suber. Yeah. So anyway, that's just a little small scale here, and I'd like to see, I think there's potential, if this works well, I think there's probably potential for a cooperative type operation around the southwest, just small scale. I mean, when I was in the Otways just recently, I went over there, I got a grant to do some research into log grown shiitake, and some people in the Otways had set up, they got really ambitious, and they set up quite a big operation, spent hundreds of thousands of dollars, and 2 or 3 years later they broke and lost all that money, and there was no market. So I think there was these people have told me, I talked to them, and they said we got too ambitious, too quick, and too big, and we basically too greedy. So there's a lesson to be learnt there, I think, So and especially, I mean, my idea with this is another aspect of small community diversity, a bit more sort of resilience for smaller communities in a lot of ways as well, not relying on, I don't want to get political or anything, but there's so many issues raised by globalization and large scale. I think we need to come back to smaller scale and rely on ourselves much more than we have. And it's within living memory that little rural communities were a lot more self-sufficient, and I think we're coming back to that a little bit in some ways. So. And this is just, like I said, I mentioned to some people before, I like to have a little bit of, I don't want to depend on one particular thing for my income, and I don't need a lot of income. So I've just got some macadamia trees, I've got some olives, I make olive oil, I sell olive oil, I've been selling limes, I've just diversity, I think, and seems to work.